Angus Reid recently released data on faith in Canada, and here's what we know about men from this study. About 8% of men in Canada would call themselves an evangelical Christian. However, over 70% of men across this country would align themselves with some type of Christian tradition. So while a strong number have some type of Christian tradition background, over 80% of the men in Canada rarely, if ever, attend a church service each year. The good news is that 43% of men in Canada say that they wish they had a closer relationship with God. So here's the challenge that you and I are facing as leaders. Men are not connecting or participating in the life of the local church. This means that if our men's ministry strategies are built to focus on the men in our church, we are just simply trying to reach a shrinking audience. So how can your ministry to men reach men who are not part of your church? Well, first, you have to build a culture of multiplication in everything that you do. For every men's event you're planning, there's a need to consistently repeat a certain message to men. Challenge men with the message of who are you going to bring with you. They may not bring anyone, but you may need to keep in front of their minds the need to constantly be investing in the lives of other men. Second, consider how the impact event that you do every year as part of your blueprint framework will help you get men to reach non-Christian men. For example, you could plan an event that Christian men would want to bring their non-Christian friends to. Third, carefully consider your follow-up strategies to each event. If you run Alpha or some other type of ministry for people wanting to learn about faith, then point men to that particular ministry. In your man-to-man path for follow-up, consider having men's groups that will help you talk with non-churched men in a non-church language kind of way. In your men in action path for follow-up, consider having Christian and non-Christian men have opportunities to be able to work together on special projects or activities. Fourth, get out of the church building and get into your community. Talk to Christian business leaders in your church and challenge them to consider being intentional about discipleship of men within their own sphere of influence, including within their own companies. The PK at Work ministry program is specifically designed to help these leaders do just that. Maybe you have enough members on your team to develop a blueprint framework specifically to target non-churched men, in addition to the strategy you have for the men in your church. Promote what you're doing in your newspaper or other places where men gather. When Jesus said to us that we are to go and make disciples, he literally meant as you are going, in whatever you are doing, when you're at work, when you're out on the soccer field with your kids, wherever you are, be making disciples. As part of its DNA, the life of the disciple of Jesus is about passing the faith on to others, to our children and our grandchildren, and also to those who do not yet know Jesus. There are over 7 million men in Canada who say they want a closer relationship with God. What are you doing to intentionally reach them?